As I was interviewing a lot of these CEOs, I would find that they were all leading with vulnerability in slightly different ways. There's not like a one size fits all approach. I'm a vulnerable leader or I'm not. It's not such a gray area. Like I crossed the finish line or I didn't. There's a lot of in betweens. And that's where, after doing all these 100 CEO interviews and surveying 14,000 employees, I was able to identify that there are different types of vulnerable leaders. So the first one I called, and we tried to name them after superheroes to try to be fun with it. Because one of the things that I talk about in the book is that leading with vulnerability can transform you into this amazing superhero. And so there are 5 types of superheroes. One of them is Captain Heart. Captain Heart is the person who wears their heart on their sleeve. They're as authentic as you get. What you see is what you get. They're transparent. It's just, this is who I am. You get what you get. And we know a lot of people like that. We might work with a lot of people like that or have people like that in our inner circle of friends or family members. Then the second one is Wonder Worker. Wonder Worker is somebody who's comfortable with being vulnerable, but around all things work related. So they can talk about challenges and mistakes at work and anything in kind of a business environment, but they're not as comfortable talking about things on their personal side. Did you know that 96% of the people who watch videos on this channel are not subscribed? That's pretty crazy, right? Make sure that you hit subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified when more videos just like this one are released. Now, the key distinction I think here is it's not that they don't do these things, it's that it's not their comfort zone. So just because you're a Wonder Worker doesn't mean you will never share anything personal about yourself. It just means that that's not what you prefer to do. You're more comfortable in the work-related area. So that's who Wonder Worker is. The next one we have is Professor Personal. And Professor Personal is someone who is more comfortable talking about life outside of work and being vulnerable about things that are happening outside of work. Again, doesn't mean they never talk about work stuff, but oftentimes they'll use personal lessons as a way to explain work lessons. They'll talk about things going on in their personal life as a way to maybe inspire people inside of the organization. So Professor Personal. Then we have somebody called Super Situational. Super Situational is a very dynamic type of vulnerable leader where they adjust depending on who they're talking to. So I might be talking to a peer and I have a certain vulnerability comfort level with them. Then I'm talking to my boss and maybe I'm not as comfortable with them. So you adjust your vulnerability dial depending on who you're talking to and depending on the context and the circumstance of the situation. And then there's Balanced Beast. I'm kind of the Balanced Beast character. And Balanced Beast is basically somebody who's pretty equal across the board. Like, it doesn't really matter who I'm talking to, if it's a good friend or if it's somebody that I work with. My comfort level of vulnerability is usually pretty the same. And it's that I'm not super vulnerable with anybody, but that's just, I'm trying to get better at that. But that's kind of like, I'm middle when it comes to vulnerability, and I'm like that with everybody across the board. So those are the different types of superheroes. Each one has their pros and their cons, but they're all superheroes in their own way.